Manchester United midfield target Manuel Ugarte is sick and tired of PSG and is pushing for his move to United. A new left-back has been linked. The Sancho situation, McTominay update, Lindelof news, loads to go through that will bring you right up to date with all the latest Manchester United news and transfer news. Welcome to Man United Review. My name's Jamie. Before we get into it, please smash a like on the video. Let's jump straight into it. So let's kick off with last night. Thought I'd do a quick review of the game. Let me know what you think in the comments. I thought overall decent performance for the first game of the season. Obviously, the most important thing, you want to win your first home game of the season, which we managed to do. Great goal by Joshua Zirkzee, debut goal. In the last few minutes of the game, buzzing about it. We can relax for the rest of the weekend now and just watch the rest of the Premier League teams. I thought we looked good at times. I felt there was a lot of players that still looked a little bit rusty, though, being honest. But again, some of them haven't had any pre-season games. Dalot, for example, I thought looked a little bit rusty. Solid, but not spectacular as you expect from Dalot. I thought Bruno was a little bit rusty in front of goal. He had two good one-on-one chances that he missed, or the keeper saved, depending on which way you're looking at it. Garnacho obviously rusty in front of goal with that chance at the end, but that's expected. Again, a lot of these players haven't played any pre-season friendlies or any games apart from the City game last week, and that's a difficult game to go into to get minutes in your legs and kind of get that sharpness, I suppose. But I thought there were glimpses of a style of play, which is something I've been very critical of Erik ten Hag with. I thought we saw the kind of 3-1-6 formation when we were trying to play out from the back. So it'll be interesting to see how that develops over the season. And then I thought out of possession, we were playing like a 4-2-4. I thought our pressing looked really good. The midfield didn't look as exposed as last season, playing in that kind of block. And obviously, it'll be interesting to see if that develops when we get Højlund back, or if Zirkzee starts, whether we'll stick with that shape out of possession. But I thought the pressing looked really good, specifically first half. I thought Mount was key to helping us with that press, which we lost a little bit in the second half when he went off for obviously the match winner, Joshua Zirkzee. What a debut by him. I thought he looked tidy, apart from the goal. But again, he's not played any pre-season games. It's his first bit of football really for weeks, because he didn't even play for Holland at the Euros, did he? So it'll be interesting to see how he develops. But what a start. What a fantastic start for Zirkzee, showing a little bit what he's all about. Mazraoui just looked unreal, though, didn't he? Let's be honest. I thought he was very impressive start for Mazraoui, and considering Ten Hag said that he's not fully match fit yet. I did say before the game I didn't expect De Ligt to start, but maybe Mazraoui, because De Ligt's not played any pre-season games. I thought it would have been a risk to start him, but Maguire didn't exactly do anything wrong. I thought Maguire looked solid, great defensively, good aerially, but we know that from Maguire anyway. He gets a lot of hate, but he is a good defender. Is he the defender that suits a particular style of play for United? I don't necessarily think so, but it doesn't take away the fact he is a very good defender. So I was pleased and kind of impressed with his performance. But yeah, overall positive, I thought. Still a lot to improve. Being wasteful in front of goal is a worry, because that was one of our Achilles heels last season as well, where we create a lot of chances but not be able to put any of them away. And goal difference is important when it comes to the league. So that should have effectively, if you looked at the stats and the data afterwards, that should have effectively been at least a 2-0 win, maybe a 3-0 win, because I think the XG for United was around 2.5, so we should have scored about 2.5 goals. So effectively, it should have been a 3-0 win. Fulham had opportunities on the counter-attack, which they could have maybe done better, because, again, they'll be a bit rusty themselves. So that was a bit of a concern. But, can't complain. Overall, nothing but positive. Zirkzee, debut goal. Mazraoui looked good. De Ligt got some time. Second half as well, and didn't look out of place when he came on for his little cameo at the end. We've got players that can get sharper and get a little bit better. So nothing but positivity. And then the main thing is the result. But Let me know what you think in the comments, and let me know what you thought about Mazraoui. I just wanted to kind of bring this in regarding it. So this is from a Bayern Munich fan channel where they were saying that's why you should listen to Bayern fans who watched Mazraoui and De Ligt all the time instead of some pundits who have no knowledge. And they were kind of going in quite heavy on the fact that Bayern Munich have allowed Mazraoui to go for the price, because you think we've bought Mazraoui for less than what we've sold Wan-Bissaka for. Mazraoui was £13 million, and we've sold Wan-Bissaka for about 18, which is, a decent deal, I think. And it's about time, though. For ages, we've kind of always had our pants pulled down by transfers where we overspend and undersell, and that's maybe one where we can look back on and think, actually, that was a pretty decent bit of business. But the only worry with Mazraoui is his fitness. That's the big concern. But overall, positive start, good result. Performance can get better, but something to build off of anyway. But let me know what you think in the comments. Now let's move on to some transfer news. So the next player we're heavily linked with, Manuel Ugarte. So Ugarte is out of the PSG squad for their opening League One game. He wants to join Manchester United. Deal has never been off, absolutely on, but it would depend on conditions wanted by PSG. So Mazraoui is apparently training, not even allowed to train with the first team now. So if ever there was a sign that you're going to sell a player, not just leaving them out of the matchday squad, because obviously there was a few players we're rumoured to be looking to remove that weren't in the squad yesterday, Jadon Sancho, but I'm going to go through that in a bit. But to not be training with the first team, that's a clear tell, isn't it, that they want to remove him. Romano also said that Manuel Ugarte is tired with PSG. He wants to leave. He wants them to find a way. Manchester United and PSG have been in talks almost the whole summer for him. Manuel Ugarte is pushing like crazy to join Manchester United. So even Ugarte is getting sick and tired of the fact that PSG are just sticking to their asking price, knowing full well that they're probably not going to get it. I can't see United bowing down to their demands, because I think we're in the position where we can wait, and it just seems, as I mentioned this in the video the other day, just very childish from PSG to not want to get a resolution done so everybody can move on with their lives. I'm sure you're sick of the Ugarte news. I've been reporting on it every day for what feels like an eternity. Ugarte wants the move. Do you know what I mean? Let's just hope we can get some adults in the room and get some sort of movement on it this week. But let me know what you think about Ugarte in the comments. Oh, sorry, there was one more story coming from Graham Bailey, saying that Manuel Ugarte's agents are confident a deal to Manchester United will happen this summer. But yeah, let me know what you think about Ugarte in the comments. Another, sticking with Romano. Romano said that Sofiane Amrabat would love to return back to Manchester United, but still no active talks at the moment. I personally think, obviously, I brought you the news the other day that he's removed Manchester United from all of his Instagram bios and he's not on the squad list anymore. I kind of think if we were going to go for Amrabat, surely we would have got him in by now. Like, there's no reason to not go for Amrabat if you were gonna get him, unless it is to do with the budget and we're waiting to remove some players. But Amrabat seems like the noise around him. Noise around him is kind of dying down. It's looking like it's going to be Ugarte or potentially Sanderberg as the alternative to midfield. Now let's talk about Jadon Sancho. Obviously, he was a player that was left out of the squad, not on the bench yesterday. Fabrizio Romano said there's a possibility for Jadon Sancho to leave Manchester United in the final days of the transfer window. And then Erik ten Hag in his pre-match press conference said, when he was asked specifically around why Sancho wasn't there, he said, I can only choose 20 players. Jadon Sancho had an ear problem during the week. He wasn't 100%. He could have played, but I had to make choices. We had to make choices, and we preferred the players on the bench. That can change. It will change. We can't always field the same team. We saw today the importance of substitutions. So, yeah, it is what it is with Sancho. I don't think the situation's changed from what I've bought you before, where United would sell him if we got a decent price. No team are bidding what United want for him, whether that's to do with the asking price or whether it's to do with Sancho's wages, plus the fact there is a little bit of baggage around him. In terms of attitude and mentality and stuff. And I don't think it's anything more sinister than that. Tanag said, well, he had an ear infection, and I can only pick 20 players, and I don't think that Jadon Sancho is, I think we've got our three core wingers is going to be Rashford, Ahmad, and Garnacho. I think they're going to be the three players that are going to be fighting for the first two kind of spots in the team, and then I can see it being Anthony and Sancho who kind of battle it out for the space on the bench, and then it depends. But then we are going to need a big squad this season, because you're going to be talking about 60 odd games potentially, and you can't do all of that with just a core of 13, 14 players. You need to have rotation options, which is what Tenag was getting about. So, but it is what it is. I still think that Sancho will leave if we get an offer for him, but if we don't, then he's going to stay, and he's going to have to fight for his place, and that's it. There's nothing more, in my opinion, going on there. Some games he is going to miss out on, because I don't think he's kind of up there with Rashford, Garnacho, and Ahmad. I will be starting two of those three ahead of Sancho, even if Sancho wasn't out of favour or wasn't potentially be looking to go. But so he's a squad rotation option at best, isn't he, Sancho? Let's be honest. But let me know what you think about that in the comments. Now, another player that was left out yesterday in the squad was Lindelof. Damarcio said that Fiorentina are currently working on the conditions of a possible deal for Victor Lindelof. That's a little bit less sinister, though, because he's been pictured on with a crutch. So he is effectively injured, and maybe that is why we haven't seen much movement on Lindelof, because obviously he's not going to pass a medical if he's currently injured. No reports on what the injury is, how long it's going to be, but that might be why we're not seeing much movement on Victor Lindelof, because he is currently injured, and that might go down to the wire, obviously, depending, because he's going to need to complete his medical before he goes anywhere. So that's one to keep an eye on. Obviously, I do expect Victor Lindelof to leave if that injury is not serious. Obviously, if it is serious, then he's going to have to stay and see out the last year of his contract, which is, it's just unlucky, that, isn't it? And then the next player we're also looking to move on, Scott Mctominays, now Alfreda Padula, who was the Italian journalist that was really spot on last year when it came to Amrabat and Rasmus, saying that Napoli have discussed figures and commissions with the agent of Scott Mctominays in another meeting in the last few hours. He is giving priority to the Italian club, and he is Antonio Conte's priority transfer for midfield. The kind of story around Mctominays is that Napoli, if they sell Victor Osimhen, who's of interest to Chelsea, ironically, seeing as, he must be one of the only players left that Chelsea haven't signed, then they're going to raise the funds to get Mctominays. That's the kind of the rumours doing the round. So like a bit of a deal where if Osimhen goes, Napoli will then have the funds to come in and buy Mctominays, and Mctominays' preference as it stands at the moment is Napoli. But let me know what you think about that in the comments. And then the final story I've got for you regarding left back. So Adrien Truffert. Manchester United were among clubs interested in Rennes left back Adrien Truffert. That came from the very credible L'Equipe via Get French Football News. Got to be honest, a player I've not really heard much of. Doing some quick research. 22 years old, it would be an interesting option. Just been in the French squad for the Olympics, 30 league games last season, 1 goal, 3 assists. Apparently the reports are that United are amongst 4 Premier League teams interested, with Liverpool, Forest, Wolves, PSG have also been credited. We're potentially looking at the player. No mentions of any fees. He's valued at around 18 million euros on transfer market. So I'd imagine if top clubs or if there's a bidding war, it could be a little bit more than that. Does look like a decent option. Be one of these kind of out of the blue left field, hopefully well scouted kind of players that could come in. If you want a progressive, left back, very young, fits the mold of being young, up and coming, that Ineos want to kind of go through. Looks a very progressive fullback. quick inspection, looks a decent player as well, but I don't like to judge a player just based on like a few highlights. I like to do a little bit more deep diving and a little bit more research. So it's one that at the moment looks good. Whether the interest is genuine or whether United are going to be going for it this summer, or whether he's going to be a name that we're going to maybe look at next summer, because the reports are that United don't necessarily have the funds to go and get a top left back this summer. The budget was always going to be allocated for the centre half, midfield, and obviously the striker position, because they were the key positions that we needed to strengthen this window. The hope was that Shaw would be fit for when Malacia comes back, and then you've got obviously Shaw and Malacia, Mazraoui and Dalot for the right back. So you've got kind of, and then Mazraoui and Dalot can provide cover at left back if needed as well. I think that was the kind of plan. Obviously, Luke Shaw's injury is kind of thrown a bit of a spanner in the works, maybe when it comes to that. So, but the report is that United are going to look for a left back next summer. So whether this is a deal we can get done in the next 2 weeks, I very much doubt, because I don't know if we're going to have the funds available, considering we're going to try and get Ugarte as our priority. There's been a lot of noise today regarding Ben Chilwell again, but that's only because Chelsea's manager has effectively said, look, you can leave. We don't want you. You need to go find another club. But that's a name that's kind of not going anywhere in some of the media, although there's not been that much credibility on it today. But we have had The Athletic and a few credible sources linking us with Ben Chilwell over the last couple of weeks. I just hope to God no. Marcus Alonso's one to keep an eye on there. Sergio Reguilon apparently is waiting to come to United as well. So we'll hopefully get some movement, or potentially we could be getting some movement on the left back in the next couple of weeks, but it's more likely going to be a short-term solution. But, Adrien Truffert could be one that we're potentially looking at for next summer. But let me know what you think about that in the comments. And that's you all up to date with the latest Manchester United news and transfer news. Drop your thoughts in the comments below. I do enjoy reading them. Smash a like on the video on your way out. Subscribe to the channel if you're new, and I will see you in the next one.